This is All Things Cheryl here to do another video and basically give some of my opinion as to what has been basically going on for the last week or so. We know, I believe this is the day that George Floyd basically lost his life at the hands of 4 officers. And now these 4 officers, 3 of them have been basically, well, all 4 of them basically have lost their jobs, and only one has been jailed. One has been charged with, I believe, 3rd-degree or 2nd-degree manslaughter, and I think in 2nd-degree murder. I'm not quite sure. But I'm basically here to, and I believe Thursday will be George Floyd memorial service, and they will put him basically to rest. Um, and it's very, very sad that we had to see a lynching right in front of our eyes. We know that a video went viral last week, I think last Wednesday or during the afternoon. And when that video went viral, the world was shocked. But what makes it very, very interesting when I say the world was shocked, I'm going to say perhaps the consciousness awakening of some white people, of some progressive people, actually saw a killing in front of their face. They actually saw a man, a black man, a family man, a man who was down on his luck, happened to go into a convenience store and lost his life due to the fact that allegedly he had a counterfeit $20 bill. We don't know how true that is, and that's why I'm saying allegedly. Now, when he went into this convenience store, the person who owned the convenience store called the police, and altercation began. Now, when we saw this video, we only saw one portion of the video, and that portion we saw was a man losing his life by a man who had no disregard of a life, who cared less about him, his family, where he came from, and who he was. He took this man's life without even breathing. Now, he was breathing, and he was basically breathing life. But this man who he basically took, this African American man, he cut off his breathing. He cut off his life. We, those of us who were on social media at the time, heard a man basically called out his mother, who was no longer with him, telling his mother that his life was getting ready to be shortened. His life was getting ready to be shortened because, in his very words that he was saying, I can't breathe. He called out his mother. to let his mother know that his life was beginning to be short, to let his mother know that the life that she brought in through the aspect of breathing was getting ready to be cut short. And we saw this. We saw this on camera. This struck a chord with everyone, and it began a domino effect. When I say a domino effect, it hit everyone, not just Black people, but we had already known and we have already felt the domino effect is because over a course, and I would say that for a century, we have felt the brutal and we have felt the killing. The only thing different about this was recorded. This was filmed. This was the beginning of the revolution, which was televised. And although the last poet said that the revolution will not be televised, well, I'm going to requote it and say that the revolution is televised. And the only reason why the revolution is basically televised is through digital and through technology. Now, if we did not have this digital and technology and proof that we as African American people have been tortured, have been brutalized from time to time. And the only weapon that we had was verbally. And we would go to court, we would basically do everything that they tell us to do. And unfortunately, no one paid attention. But for some odd reason, on Wednesday of last week of 2020, that was recorded and that was televised. And so I'm here to basically say that the revolution is being televised, and it has been televised for quite some time right now. Now, people have basically lost their lives when it took one act, one thing to do, and that was to lock and prosecute. That's it. Locked and prosecute. But for some odd reason, it took them quite some time, and we still don't know whether or not what the outcome of this trial is going to be. The man and the men who assist the man who put his knee on a Black man's neck. Only one person is in jail, and he's in jail for manslaughter and second-degree murder. The other three men, now surveillance tapes have basically surfaced, and it has shown that he was held down while this other man, one stood, but the other two was killing. Now, apparently from city to city, from town to country, property has basically been destroyed. People are upset. They want to know why, but I'm going to tell you, you guys know why, but you refuse to not listen. And so the only way that the young people felt, and I'm going to say it's the young people who brought this revolution, and it was televised. who brought this forth is to let you all know that they followed the rules that their mother and father, their aunties and grandmas and great grandmas told them to do. Follow and do what they tell you to do. And they did it. But they felt that even though they followed and did what their grandmothers and grandpas and everybody told them to do, still wasn't paying attention. So they destroyed and began to destroy properties. Now am I happy about this? No, I'm not. But apparently it seems that the only way that you of the community or the world or the white community can basically pay attention is if we have to go into your pockets and to destroy property. Destroy property for you to pay attention. Now, people are very upset. What's the point of being upset? Basically, this has been going on for quite some time. America, white America, been stealing and looting from African Americans, been stealing and looting, taking our styles, uh, taking our lyrics, stealing and looting for quite some time. But will there be changes? Right now, you guys are paying attention because property is being stolen and stealing and destroyed. And our president decided that he's going to shoot if there's any looting. And so basically, this really has occurred. Even though there were rubber bullets, but still, the shooting has began. And people are being locked up. Now, what's the purpose of my intent of this video? Is to give my opinion. My opinion. My opinion is that we must pay attention. There's a message being sent. Now, when it comes to this pandemic, we are the ones, the African American communities are the ones who are paying the price. There's a lot of going on with this, but I will say this. The revolution is now televised.